Did that just play? I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Did the intro play for you, Jenny?
Yeah. And I heard it.
Do it again. Do it again. I didn't see it. I saw you bobbing your head, Cody, and I was like waiting for it. I was like, oh, it must be a delay.
No, the whole thing played. I was going. Yeah.
Yeah, you were into it. You were into it. You already got a comment from Dan. Dan's already giving you kudos about that one time you had something smart to say on this show.
Yeah.
That's how you know, though, like you're if everyone always remembers the one smart thing you said, Cody, that's bad. Just for the record. Because like no one says that about me because I say so many smart things.
Okay. All right.
You see what I'm saying?
We're not going to talk about the points performance of the deadlift yesterday. We'll leave that off. We'll just
You're having a rough day. You're having a rough day, but here's why. I didn't realize this before we start. It's your 15th wedding anniversary. Oh no, your 15th anniversary.
Yeah, it's not my 15th wedding anniversary. Jeez.
Your 15th anniversary was Shayna. Do we say Shayna or Shona? I always forget.
It's Shayna. Come on,
Shayna.
man.
Okay, I thought so. I was texting her last night, but I say texting.
Why are you texting my wife?
Well, you know, as I was saying it, I almost backed up as I was saying it, and then I was actually going to say I actually slid into her DMs. It was a DM. We don't text, we DM because I was worried about you. I said, please go tell your husband to go to bed. He didn't know the points of performance of the deadlift, for one. And you looked at, we had a 2-hour meeting and you looked like you were going to die.
I was close.
And if I'm speaking candidly, you don't look that much better today. Right, Jenny? Right? He
looks fine. He looks great.
Your screen is blurry, I think, Jenny.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Look great. You got a great mic. You got a nice little house. I love the background looks almost fake. Is that your real living room?
It's real.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's great. You got books on. Oh, those books are on the wall. You have kids?
No.
That's why. You got a nice, organized house. Cool. Well, we are excited to have you, Jenny Gibbs, De Novo CrossFit. Is it De Novo? Am I saying it right?
Yep.
What's that stand for?
Means to start from the beginning anew.
Cool. I didn't know if it was like Denver. If it had like the because you're not far, right? You're in Fort Collins.
Yep.
But no, it's got meaning to it.
Yeah, nothing to do with Denver. Joreen, who's in the coach development program, her husband actually had the idea, and it can be used as like a legal term to start a case from scratch.
Cool.
In Latin, it translates to start from the beginning anew. So that's our like theory of starting each day fresh, becoming the best versions of ourselves we can.
Yeah, and for many people, showing up at the box and, rebooting your life through the power of CrossFit, if you will. So let's talk about it. You're getting ready for your level. Are you signed up for your level 4? Or are you just preparing?
Yeah, it's on April 12th.
April 12th. We got just over a month. You feel ready?
Yeah, I will continually still have work to do even after I take it, no matter what happens, but I'm excited. I'm really nervous, but also excited.
Yeah, one day you will get to be like me, level 4. There's no more work to do.
You're just done. I don't have to try anymore.
You are at the top. You are the pinnacle of coaching. I love it. Cool. Well, I'm really excited to watch you coach. Before we kick this off, we do have a lesson plan from you, which is awesome. Did you write that up beforehand?
We follow Spiel programming, and they provide the lesson plans. Usually myself or Joreen will go through, and Joreen is my head coach. We'll go through and tweak them based on what we think we have time for, based on our people and our space and our equipment and things like that. And yeah, this one, like I said before, this is a good example of not following the lesson plan very well and starting late and trying some new things kind of on the fly and it working. But yeah, I started a lot later than I wanted to.
All good. That's what it's all about. So, knowing that ahead of time, is that one of the things we would look at? Just the how the 1 hour ran?
Yeah, I can talk more about this when we get to the class as well, but there are some things. This was the 9:15 class that I coached. I coached the noon class as well, and I tried a few different things that helped for a really big class at noon, but I still started later than I wanted to. And I think I would have taken the rope climb progressions as detailed as I went into those. I think I would have shortened those up quite a bit.
Cool. Well, let's check it out. I'm going to hit play. You good, Cody? Anything to add or ask? Cody?
No, we're good. I mean, if you want me to pull the lesson plan up, I can pull it up. We can take a look at it. But
Let's get it rolling first. There'll be times during class where, people are moving around and we can ask, Jenny some questions. There we go.
Yeah, I was going to say you can go forward, I think, until like 2-ish minutes in.
How many people are in this class?
There's Jordan. There she is right there. Joreen.
10 or 11 maybe.
How many? Is that a typical size class for you?
Yeah, they vary. It depends. For the 9:15 on Wednesdays, I feel like that's fairly typical.
What slice of the demographic we got coming into the 9:50? Oh, Mike. There we go. Cody's not drinking coffee right now, Mike. I'll take that. That's for me. Cody's on decaf kick. What's the demographic like in this class?
This is like 30s and 40s.
It's my class. It's my time. My time to shine here.
How does everyone feel? Where?
Are you taking notes, Jenny? Are you about to take notes during this?
I have.
Level 4 prep, man. Like,
I like it. Good.
I've watched this class, of course, as well. So, oh my gosh, yeah.
Is this you?
Yes.
Oh, that doesn't look like you. Okay. What are you about to say?
No, I'm just laughing at Andy swinging on the rope as I'm like starting the brief.
Yeah.
That's typical 9:15.
Yeah.
I know. So today we have a 5-round workout.
Can you hear that?
It is a 500-meter row, 3 rope climbs, and then 1 power clean and jerk. The low impact version is going to be 2 minutes of rowing. Then we have some dumbbell bent over rope and muscle clean and press. Just a reminder, those barbell movements, the power clean and jerk, it look like one of 2 ways. This.
Ooh, look at that movement. Whoa.
Or this.
Look at that hip extension with PVC and great rack position. Ooh, you're a good mover, Jenny.
Thanks.
Let's go in the open.
All right.
Well, what'd you do? Did you make it to quarterfinals?
Yes.
There you go. She's good, Cody. She's better than you.
It's better than all of us.
I like it.
No bending of the knees.
Look, I don't think you have to demo as well as Jenny just did, but it doesn't hurt your class. That's for sure.
No, that was great.
Couple things.
Do you always demo like that?
About 20 minutes on this workout. I do my best. I definitely. We've been working on that. One of our last coach development meetings was videoing ourselves, demoing movements, and critiquing ourselves. Okay, how you are going to get there? Sorry. How you're going to get there is your row should be. I'm going to be the mean coach. 20 minutes or less. Listen, this is how you do that. Okay.
What are they arguing with you about? What are they pointing at?
So. I mentioned that this should be 20 minutes or less, and some people pointed to the whiteboard, and they're like, other people earlier did more than 20 minutes. And I said, I'm going to be the mean coach. It's a 20-minute cap.
Yeah, so it was 5 rounds, 500-meter row, 3 rope climbs, and then 1 power. I don't think you said a weight.
Nope, it's a percentage.
Okay, cool.
I get to that.
20 minutes. That's
It's
reasonable. It's pushing, but yeah, scale the rope climbs. Like, do 2.
The row should be about 2 minutes. I would say 2 minutes and 15 or less. When you're looking at your rower screen, the big number, the 500-meter split, should be 2:15 or less. Okay, that whole time. If it goes over that, feel free to scale to 2 minutes or 2 minutes and 15, as many meters as you can get. Then the rope climbs. If you can do your rope climbs in 2 poles, stick to 3 reps. Takes you more than 2 poles, I would scale to 1 or 2 reps. Of course, half reps could be a thing, so you could do 3 half rep rope climbs We also do have the middle ropes in the under the rig for ground to standing. This will look like this. Ground, shoulders on the ground. Full stand. And it finishes with the shoulders on the ground as well. You can go for anywhere between 3 to 6 reps there. Your rope climbs should take 1 minute or less, okay? So watch the clock on those. Scale as needed to do 1 minute or less. And then your clean and jerk is prescribed at 80% of your 1 rep max, if you know that. Otherwise, it should be something that's a challenging weight, fairly heavy, but something that you should not feel nervous to fail. And something that when you walk back over to your bar, you can take a deep breath, pick it up, and go. Okay, so it shouldn't take too crazy long to prep yourself up for it. 20-minute cap today, 4 minutes or less per round.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
This is for, oh, there it is. Is this frozen for you? Oh, he's talking. He's talking.
Like I showed. Yep. So
He asked if it was a squat clean.
Okay. I just couldn't hear it. I thought my video froze.
You guys are going to find a partner and a rower. And we're going to do a little bit of rolling.
This
So
guy's
is the
texting
game
somebody.
Row, try to get the meters
You see
to
that?
100. And I'll give the partner that's not on the rower some banded exercises to do. So find a partner, find a rower. One of you will need a band.
Okay. Good stuff, Jenny. First, I wanted to say this. I mean, loud, great job with the stimulus. I think you nailed that. Group management perspective, you're going to show up at your level 4 and be coaching strangers. You need to be more direct. Come on in close. Here's where you're standing. Look at me. Pay attention. Like, I know these are your group, so it's actually, they're used to you and they're fun, but like, work on that. Work on being like, look at me, watch me, focus on me. Like, really dive into that. And I want you to do it in such a way that you're still Jenny. You're still having a good time. Like, let's not make this like, Jenny's so mean, but practice that because it is going to be important at your level 4. This to me is like this is a rope climb workout, right? Like when you first said it, I was like, oh, this is a rowing workout. Like the clean and jerk is almost unnecessary, right? It's like, if you can't, wake up in the middle of the night and throw this thing overhead, it's too heavy for you, right? Like that's what it should be, like relative, like 80%, but still not much bandwidth. This is like those 3 rope climbs are really where the magic is going to happen. So I'm anxious to see what happens. I would guess there's going to be some people over the time cap in this class.
Well, they're going to get time cap. She's going to be the main coach.
Oh, yeah, you're going to time cap it. So I'm anxious to see if Jenny stands by that. What do you guys think? If you're watching right now, does Jenny stop them at 20 minutes? I'm going to go with you. I'm guessing I've just interacted with Jenny. I think she's stern but fair. I think she will cap it.
Also going back to the be more direct thing, especially with something like a group workout, if you have a group of strangers, go around and say like, you're 1, you're 2, you're 1, you're 2, you're 1, you're 2. Now all my ones get on the rower. That way there's no
I like that.
ifs, ands, or buts. It's like you're managing the class at that point.
I take it back. You've said 2 smart things now. Dan, write that one down. Go number people off, Dan. Meanwhile, let me tell you something about Dan. I walked upstairs last week. Roz, my wife, I go up there. I'm like, is that Andy Stumpf talking? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, what are you watching? And I knew the video because I remember watching it when I was trying to get on seminar staff. And she's like, oh, Dan sent it out to us to watch. And I'm like, Dan, send out videos of me to my wife, not Andy Stumpf. But anyway, it's a good video. So let's talk about it. We got some bent over rows going, kind of preparing them for the rope climb. Right? Some burpees, just getting the heart rate up. Where are you? This is you right here, right?
Yep.
Cody, I'm going to keep this rolling. Pull up the lesson plan real quick.
That's what I had going. I can't. I mean, it'll make it go away.
Yeah, but I'm going to keep the class running is what I'm saying on my screen. Go ahead. So we got, where are we at? Well, how long was the
General warm
whiteboard?
up.
Okay, so we started about 2 minutes into this. Yeah, so that whiteboard brief was about 5 minutes on the dot. So pretty good there. Is that what you have there? I assume because the general warm was 5 to 15, you accounted for a 5-minute whiteboard brief.
Oh, me? Are you asking me? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 0 to 5. Yeah.
Yep. Well,
Cool.
yes.
But what are you gonna say?
No, I mean, that includes, I think, as well, like getting the partner, like the bands and the partners ready for rowing. Yeah, the next steps.
Yeah, you're pretty much on there. And then, so is this for the general warm up? Is it? What'd you tell them? I didn't hear that. Was it 10 minutes of XYZ, or is it a certain number of movements, and hopefully they're done in 10 minutes?
So we did. I think this class was 3 rounds of rolling.
They're doing rolling.
Rolling. So one person's doing the rounds of rolling while the other partner's going through the banded stuff that I'm demoing them for them. We skipped the shoulder stretch.
Okay, cool. All right, pull it back up, Cody.
You okay about the pulling and jerks today? Shit.
What are you laughing at there, Jenny?
So our rule is usually if they land on 100, then the coach does 5 burpees.
Oh, that's funny. That's cool. Yeah.
For this class today, we said, okay. And that's like how we've done it for years. And today we started doing it. If you land on 100, you get to give anyone in the class 3 burpees. And so most often they still choose us as the coach, but
That's fun though. That's cool. I like that.
yeah, it was fun. But Charlie in the back and Joreen is in this class. And so I asked Charlie who he wanted to give them to. And he said me. And I was like, come on, you don't have to give them to me. I'm like as the coach. And he's like, okay, Joreen. So he still gave them to a coach, but just not me.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Just roll the legs together.
You know who's a good roller? Fern. He hit that 100. Remember, Cody at Mafia?
Yeah, on the spot.
On the
Pressure's
spot.
on.
Sometimes we'll do it with random numbers, like 123 meters,
That's cool. Yeah, that's funny.
because
like
people
Nobody
Like-
practices that.
know how to like game the system.
Yeah. So you did a good job walking around. I understand why the room is set up this way. Where would the rowers typically be if you didn't have the ropes down and the bars out?
Depends on the workout. Sometimes we'll have the machines where the ropes are up in front. If we are not using the rig, oftentimes we'll have the machines underneath the rig. And depending again on the workout, sometimes they'll be kind of like the barbells are in like stations.
Gotcha. Cool.
I've been trying to like not have that last option as much because it traps me.
Yeah. No, I think it's cool. Mix it up. Try different things.
What's this guy doing with that band?
Here.
Twirling it around.
Dave.
You're gonna give them to me? I wouldn't be mad.
Those 2 dudes on the right in the dark, they're brother-in-laws.
Oh, I don't do that. Close. Nice strong legs, Heather. If you don't have a barbell, you guys can grab one. Oh, one. So close.
And this your members are like
So grab the barbell.
literally herding cats.
Mhm.
This is the challenge with the general warm up. With it's like, hey, it's almost like a task priority warm up. Like some people are going to be done early, some people
Mhm.
aren't. Not that you shouldn't do this, but when there's so much that it clearly has a separation of like when people are done, you're going to get a little bit of this going on rather than, hey guys, you're going to do 8 minutes, as many rounds of this as you can, or there's 3 movements, like no one's really getting super far ahead or behind.
Mhm.
I like
Yeah.
to use
Go
to
ahead.
use an interval clock for something like this. So it's like every 90 seconds we're gonna swap where you need to be. Person on the rowers rowing for a minute, 30-second transition or whatever, and then swap to the other thing. Just
Mhm.
keeps it a little bit more structured.
Yeah, Doreen and I talked that morning because she coaches the early morning classes, and I asked her how'd it go, any heads up on the timeline, and we talked about taking out the shoulder stretch, and we talked about taking out or really condensing the rolling warm up, but we were both just like, it's so fun, and it's like such a great way to get the camaraderie and everything. So that was another piece that I was like, maybe that could have been done more condensed, and the fun pieces.
What they do, 3 rounds?
I'm pretty sure it was 3. Yeah, I think I did 2 at the noon class, like a hard stop at 2.
And look, at the end of what you said is true. Like everyone's having fun,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's from a coaching at your affiliate perspective. That's the priority. Like these 11 people are having a good time. They're going to come back tomorrow. Coaching at your level 4, a little different, but from this perspective, like, yeah, that's fun. Like, cool. And they are still getting coached.
If you have any shoulder issues going on and you don't feel comfortable doing this, let me know, but you should be able to do it. We're going to be getting as tall as we can. If you have some strict pulling strength, and we're doing basically a strict rope pull-up. One hand over the other, I'm on my tippy toes, and then I pull my chin above my hands. I'm going to switch which hand is on top and do that for 4 total reps. If you don't quite have that strict pulling strength, you can use a little jump. So instead of going on my tippy toes, I'm just reaching up with somewhat straight arms. I'm using my legs to jump by chin above my hands. Switching. So you can definitely do these on the middle ropes as well. Go ahead and do 4 reps, please.
So this is a good example too, like Cody was saying. Hey, you 3, you're on this rope. 1, 2, 3, you're on this rope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would have been.
I'm watching some of these people, and I'm wondering if they're even going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there are definitely people that either didn't or like we have a couple ropes under the rig, so you can see the girl in green, Heather. Yeah. She's doing them back there as well. But
we've said it with a lot of other things before, but it's clarity is kindness, right? Like people want to be told what to do.
They do.
Tell me where to go, what to do, how many to do. I'm here to cut my brain off.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Like it's as a coach, sometimes we think like, oh, we're being nice by, hey, go, rather than like you go here, you go here. Even like as far as like, I want you to do it this way, you to do it that way, like a prescription. Like you're jumping, you're pulling, you're holding for a second at the top, like squeeze, right? Like you can all different things as you know your members.
At your barbell next. You can leave your bar on the ground for a moment. We're going to start with going over some cleans. So first thing, our setup for cleans. Grab your bar. Your thumbs distance away from your thighs. So grab your bar, pick it up. Thank you. Thumbs distance from your thighs. Find a full grip on the bar, and I do recommend finding your hook grip. So wrapping your fingers over your thumb. Then go ahead and wipe your feet like you're wiping the snow off from outside. And stop. Your feet should be about underneath your hips there after wiping them off. That is where we want to start for our clean. The setup position, I want you to get your bar down to the mid-shin, where it would be when it's on the ground. Good job. Shoulders slightly in front of the bar. Hold that there for a moment. Big butt up. Good job. That's better. Just roll your shoulders back. Nice job. Knees back a little, Charlie. Go ahead and stand for a second. Come back down to that position and hold. Good flat back, Richard. That's a great setup position, Steph. Push through the balls of your feet a little more, Tab. Nice job. Roll your shoulders back, Andy. And look forward. Stand.
Cool.
There for a moment.
Good work there.
First thing,
very good.
A dip and shrug. You're going to jump a little bit on this. Your feet will move from the ground. Your goal here is speedy grip or speedy butt squeeze. Looks like this. Okay? You're also going to shrug your shoulders. So squeeze your butt and shrug. Your knees crack. You get extra credit. Ready? Go.
Matt, the answer is yes. Anybody can be on these shows. We've got the progression and the affiliate hot seat. So if you want to be in the hot seat on this show for having a class reviewed, just send me an email. I'll put a banner up right now that'll put my email up. Send me an email and I'll get you the form to fill out.
So previously during the setup, you walked around. How come during that one you just stayed your ground?
I don't have an answer.
Good.
I think maybe because I was going.
We have more time. It makes sense, right? Like I can leave you here as long as I want in the setup position.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're doing reps, and you probably knew I want to do 3 or 4. There's not really a lot of time, but I will tell you, cool, call out those reps, make the time.
I was looking over here at the lesson plan too. Specific warm up 15 minutes to 22. I think you're on track for that. You may have been like a minute behind on that number, but we'll see like how you wrap this thing up.
Yes, we will.
I cannot believe how good your rack position is with that PVC.
Thank you.
Really good. See, now you're doing it.
I think it was for like the dip and shrug and dip and high elbows. Not that
There's
they're
no
not
static
important.
position.
Yeah, I guess yes. And like those first two, yeah, they're just. I kind of think I just move a little bit more quickly through them because yeah, I guess there's not that static like finished position. It's just up down.
Yeah, and what I mean by that for the listeners is, or the viewers, when you finish that muscle clean, now I have a second static position
Mm-hmm.
that I can walk around in. So it makes total sense why you did it. I would tell you, challenge yourselves to still do it.
Mm-hmm.
From the front there, it's a little harder to see an early shrug, right? But from the side, I can see that. You're doing a really good job demonstrating everything in between. So now we're doing a hang power clean, right?
Yep.
Dude, can you hear? Do you hear that?
I know, it's like so powerful.
Music to my ears over here.
Did you just say 5? Okay. 5, but on you.
I don't know what I said. I don't think I said 5, but
Okay. I like that you're on the perimeter, but that is the challenge of now you have the rowers there to navigate, right?
Mhm,
Alternatively, you'd be in the middle, but then half the group you've got your back towards them.
right.
But I would hold this position longer, right here. Watch this.
Okay. And go.
So let's pause. Here's the example, right? We've got a new static position. If we look around, I didn't mean to play it. If we look around, we know we can improve this guy, the girl in front of him, this guy, like half the group.
Mhm.
Right? Let's see what happens.
Love that receiving position with your butt back, Charlie. On this one, though, higher shrug. Reset.
Cool.
Hey.
1 Q, right? The difference being like Q, 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 Q.
Tristan, bar above your knees. Excellent. Go. Shrug, Charlie. That was better. Good. Set your bar down. Same.
So you were doing it well in the setup. Now do it as well in the next static position.
Mhm.
And I just heard you say, like, as they were moving, you were like, shrug, Charlie. They're not able to even comprehend what's going on in the middle of moving. That would be something where if he needed to shrug, like right before that rep happens, hey Charlie, make sure you shrug harder on this one and go, bam, and now you're looking for that.
Cool. I like that, Cody.
You better like it.
You saw me? I kind of lost balance on that last one, but this surprised myself. So, grab your bar. Bring it to the mid shin. Or again, the ground when the bumper plates are on it. Hold here, knees back a little, Charlie. Nice. Feet out slightly, Tristan. And power clean. Go! Reset. Tristan, way to squeeze your butt. This time I want you to jump as you squeeze your butt. Reset. Eyes up, Heather. Go! Nice, Tristan. That was a better jump. Reset. And mid shin. Richard, roll your shoulders back. My hand's going to be above your head, way up here. Touch my hand and then drop. Go! Good. Reset. Another one.
Is that Tristan?
Mm-hmm.
And good. Tall, Heather. Set your bar down.
So in that piece of the progression, it felt like Tristan was getting hammered, which is great. But the reason I want you to focus on those static positions is because now everyone's like, oh, she's also watching me.
Right.
Because I was like, Tristan this, Tristan this, Tristan this. And if we sprinkle in Charlie, Joreen, so-and-so, like now we've got more names getting out there as well.
And I like how many reps you did right there. Like that's good. A lot of people would cut that short. So you did a lot of reps there. That's good. If you hold those static positions a little longer, you can also get in a lot of cues with those reps too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like holding them in that position adds such little time for the amount of cues you can now add. Right? If every one of those reps you added 3 seconds, even if you did 10, that's 30 seconds. But if we add in 10 additional cues, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Very frustrating. So find that lock. You can also do it there instead of going.
I'm curious though, because we are at 25. They're still warming up the rope climbs, and we have to load up for this workout. So I'm curious to see what happens.
Yeah, the lesson plan shows the specific warm up is over at 22. So I want to see.
We're about 2 minutes off. This is, I think, like true clock. This would be like 23 minutes into class. So we're only
not
about
bad.
a minute right now. Yeah,
Second one is basically instead of
huge, Corey.
this. Here. Here. They're both gonna lock. One might feel better for you. Let's see what one feels better.
And this is a complex workout, right? We've got a complex weightlifting and a complex gymnastics. So, I mean, an appropriate class to really dig into the specific warm up. Going back to what you said earlier, Jenny. In retrospect, yeah, probably one round off that general warm up.
Mm-hmm.
Solves a lot of this.
Good job, Charlie. If you want, you can use the pull-up bar as well. Awesome. Tristan, pull your knee higher up to your chest. So grab the pull-up bar. Bring your right knee high to your chest. Yep, good. There you go, nice. That was it. Once you finish those 4 find and locks, go back to your barbell.
That guy's doing a good job. I'm like happy with that. Proud of that guy right there. Getting out there and trying. This girl too in the rig there.
Again, finish those, back to your bar.
How high are those ropes? 20?
What's the normal height? 15 feet? I think our ceilings are 16 feet. So
Okay, so they go to the top.
You see that wall ball target? The top one's 10 foot. So
So she does the lead foot on top versus up and over.
Going back to what I said, here's where we need to be a little more deliberate with the group management. Like,
right.
so you guys here, you guys here, you guys here, you're doing this. Like, who's just doing who's doing what'd you call it earlier? Like a pull to stand?
Oh, ground to standing.
Standing. Who's doing 2 pulls? Who's going to the top? Like, let's get some partners moving through this.
especially like if you're equipment limited, right? And you don't, when you get ready to take your level 4, I think you get to walk in like the afternoon before to kind of scout it out and see what's going on.
Yeah, and I would get there early and take a class if you can. If where are you taking it in Boulder, Jenny?
Yeah, roots.
So I would drop into Roots if you haven't already. Like, take some classes there. They've got a unique setup, right? They've got 2 rigs. They've got those are the things we need to know. Because when you have 3 ropes and then you have a handful in the rig itself.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody doing a scale that's not on a rope?
I believe I have Deb, who is behind Tristan, I'm pretty sure. I think she's doing the dumbbell bent over rows, which is part of like the low impact version that Spiel programming provides.
Okay.
How come you went from the clean to the rope to the jerk?
So this is, like I said, the little thing I was trying out. And actually it was when I went to Roots and I observed Nicole They had a snatch workout, and she would do some snatch progressions, and then they had like rope climb skills, and it was back and forth just to kind of keep the athletes engaged and interested. So I was trying that out today, and I liked it, but like I said, just time wise, it was just too long.
Well, yeah, you just lose time because it's like, get your bars. Here we go. Get your ropes. Here we go. Go back to your bars. If I were doing this class, I would have done, general warm up like you did, which included plenty of rowing in it. Like your rowing is set. I would have then went to the rope climbs, done everything. Hey, what are you going to do for the rope climbs during the workout? 3, 2, ground to stand. Okay, cool. Let's go through the barbell stuff. Let's load up.
Yeah, and I think the specific warm up for the ropes had like pull up bar work, like scap shrugs and pull ups and things like that. And for me, I was like, I'm not even going to waste time with the pull up bar, but going back and forth, I still wasted time. Or I guess didn't use the time as,
Yeah, I don't think, for the, you've not wasted, like you've kept these guys moving. Like this has been good. But I would also say, like, now that you're 30 minutes in, was there any internal clock for you going like, we got to get this thing go? Like we said 20-minute cap, like that means 30, 35 at the latest I need to be going.
Yeah, no, like I had to do the 20-minute cap because we like finished right at the end. And my internal clock was not even there that day. I was just trying to focus on like these progressions and.
No, and that's where, for any coach watching this, L4, L3 doesn't matter. I need to know what time do I need to be saying 3, 2, 1, go. We call it, Fern and I refer to that as the drop dead start time. Like I know I told them 20 minutes. It's not an AMRAP, but I know that there's a cap at 20, call it. Cool. I would have told you like 30 is my drop dead. 30, maybe push it to 32. I want, time to cool down. I want time to put everything away, etc.
Yep, that did not.
That's all good.
Yes.
Oh shit, the clock. Yeah. And I'll tell you, like, maybe it's because of my experience, but I've been in plenty of classes like this where I'm like, we're not ending on time. That's fine. Like it's just a matter of like, do I have to go somewhere? Like sometimes you have people that are like, I got to go to work, right? Especially this 9:15 slot.
And Michael, to go back to what you said, the Congo line, like, yeah, you can do stuff like that if you're limited on equipment, but you still have to give the people directives, right? Like, hey, I need 3 equal lines. And if anybody's straggling, it's you're there. So you just have to give people, a little bit more direction.
Yeah, this is where you're losing. It's right here. Like we realize we're a little behind. Cool. Let's get moving. Like you're still doing great teaching, but it's like, okay, cool. Next, like, this is not like, hey, I've got to tell you everything I know about this. Like, cool. We'll be back doing this again next week.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that I've been thinking about. Even I watched the DT lesson planning video yesterday, and for next week, even to like for our timelines, put the main focus point, because we've been trying to have like a focus point for almost every single movement. And it's almost like too much that I'm wanting to teach and see, like teach, see, correct, all the things. And I think that's what happened on this day. I know that's what happened on this day. I was like too excited to try to do all the things. So definitely having like a focus point or two, like she said, spines and range of motion.
Mm-hmm.
That is something I'm excited to try moving forward to keep it simple, stupid, so to say. Exactly.
And then, the benefit of that is these guys now have something to think about and you've got something to think about.
Right. Because it's just it's more overwhelming for them if I'm putting this stuff out, because I know what it all is. Not to say they don't, but to give them
more than them for sure.
They're going to be more successful that way too.
Yeah, and Jay, what do you think about what Michael said over here, where he said cut the split option out? This could be something where you say we're going to do a power clean and jerk at 80%. Here's what it looks like, and if you need the split option is there for you, but you maybe not necessarily have to go through the whole teaching of it. Like I'm going to teach the push jerk option. That's what I chose to focus on for today. And if somebody chooses a split, then they choose to split.
Yeah, and I would also tell you, if you need to split, this is probably more than 80%.
Right.
Like that's why, like, this is a day cool. Like, let's. I would have said, like, hey, the goal of today is a power clean in right into your jerk. Like, don't even stand up. This should be. I mean, I was doing them like for me. This is like 185 ish, maybe 200, like something like that. So I'm like, in my mind, I'm like 80%. Like that's my weight I would be using. That should be ground, boom, right up into your overhead. Like that's how easy it should be at 80%. So let's not even worry about a split. Actually, today your goal is, as you're coming out of that power clean, I want you to immediately go overhead. Right? Like that's what we need. And the truth is, you need to, because we talked about 4-minute rounds. 2 is on that rower, not to mention time getting off, getting to the rope. So it's really 2-minute row, 90 seconds of rope climbs, 5 seconds of clean and jerks. That's what it should be.
Totally.
It should be like, I get off that last rope climb and I walk to my bar and put it overhead. So, time and a place. Can we pull up Dan's question, Cody?
Yeah, I thought that was a good one.
Question from Dan Espinoza. Any thoughts about putting specific drills in the general warm-up to save time when dealing with multiple complex movements in one workout? Example, putting the rope pull-ups in the general warm-up. 100%. We've spoken about that, in the past, where complex days or longer workouts. And I think, didn't DT speak about that a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the blend.
The blend.
Yeah. What's that?
The blend.
The blend, right? Like the radio station, the blend. Putting the general and specific warm-up somewhat together. I think that would have been a perfect thing. Hey guys, you're going to do your rolling, then you're going to do 3 of these pulls on the rope, right? And then even like, hey, you're going to go 5 muscle cleans. Like that's fine. Like it doesn't have to be everything, but certainly, your general warm-up should lend itself to the class, right? That's why we say like a 400-meter run is not a good general warm-up. It might be a good start to it, but ultimately your general warm-up outside of core temperature and range of motion and all that should be lending itself to the task at hand. Which, for the record, I think yours did, Jenny. And I know it's really Spiel's programming, and that's what I would also tell you. Like, Spiel and I did our level 2 together way back when. Like, I know the dude, smart guy, runs an affiliate, but maybe it's not an affiliate anymore, right? Runs a gym. But at the same time, every gym is different. Like just think of, maybe he's got 16 ropes. Maybe he's got a lot of rowers. Like, so you have to just consider that. Maybe my newer athletes are going to take more time to get prepared.
Here's where we're at on the lesson plan right now. So you got the build/P right here. You got 8 minutes.
Speaking of P, I got to go pee in a second.
But I mean, like I'm looking, like the WOD's going to be 20 minutes long. She's got a hard cap on that. The cleanups, she's got a minute.
Right, so we're supposed to be done at 50. So we were on the same wavelength with that 30.
She does have like 7 minutes built in for the cool down and the stretch though. So like she's got time to pull things away if she wants to.
Yeah, just don't let your cool down stretching become a reason to start late.
Yep.
And we are fully aware, Jenny. This is a snapshot into your coaching. This is one class. Like we're not for a second saying this is what happens every time with Jenny.
Yeah, Dan. The build P. Like
keep going, Cody. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I was just about to say it. See that? You see what happens? Ackerman would have to pee twice in that 8 minutes. This is what happens. This is a tiny little bladder. Where is your clock placed?
It's like right where that guy just walked from.
Gotcha. Directly at the front of the room where everyone's staring?
Yep.
Cool. Oh, and we got a bike coming out? What's going on there?
He's biking instead of rowing. So we only have 8 rowers. So we have a bunch of bikes where he pulled them from, and we have 3 athletes that are going to be biking up there. A couple of them thought that I can just share with someone, but I told them with how long the row is, it wouldn't probably work out.
Yeah. This is not a workout where you can share. Here's what I would have done. Like if this were how many rows did you say you had, Jenny?
8.
I do take a nervous beat, Mike. 8. So what did you just tell Cody that I missed? How many? What's the plan?
So he saw Charlie, pulling a bike to the back and asked what was going on there. So basically we have 4 people biking, I believe.
Cool.
And then the other people rowing, and someone was like, can't we just share? And I said, no, it won't work out with the timing.
Let's do a little brainstorming. Cody, while everyone's getting set up, what would you have done to make sure everyone has to row? You have 8 rowers, 11 people. Everyone must row. Everybody in the comments as well. What would you do in that scenario? This is very real. You got 8 rowers. You got 11 people in your class. The rule is everybody has to row. Cody, what do you got? Or Jenny?
I mean,
go ahead. I know what I would do.
Oh, you know what you would do, huh?
I mean, it's the right answer, but go ahead. What do you got?
Is there right and wrong answers to this?
No, there's no right answer. There's no wrong. I should say there is a right answer. There's no wrong answer.
I mean,
Good follow up, Dan. Before we go, you have it can't be like everyone's doing a 2K row all of a sudden, right? Same workout. No, point is same workout. 5 rounds for a time. 500-meter row, 3 rope climbs, 1 clean and jerk. The goal is to stick to this as best you can. Staggered start, in my opinion, Matt, doesn't really. It's the same as what Jenny just said. Like, you're going to wind up overlapping, in my opinion. That's an option, though. Like, certainly a viable option. Partner up, partner 1 starts in a row, partner 2. You know, Mike's on the same page that I'm on. What were you going to say, Jenny?
I was going to say that, one partner is on the rower and it's X time or 500 meters. And then the other person could start with the clean and jerk. Because, like, they can get that done. And then they can do the rope climbs, and it's like when your partner's done, like tags you out, stop your rope climbs and get on the rower.
Yeah, I'm looking at it as like you're gonna run into a little bit of a log jam on rope climbs eventually, probably anyways. Like somebody's, especially with 3 of them, you've only got 3 ropes here. Like, go ahead and have some people start on the rope. That way they're out of the way, and it kind of helps limit the traffic jam anyways.
Yeah, and I think that's what I would have. I would have went, 8 rowers, 11 people, I would have done 5 partners and 1 person can do it on their own. And I would have went something like Jenny said, where, it's 4-minute rounds. You have 2 minutes as far as you can get on the rower. And then you have to you accumulate as many 3 rope climbs and 1 clean and jerk as many times as you can in that 2-minute switch. And maybe the score is now like total distance on the rower, total rounds accumulated on the rope and bar, but a very similar stimulus, if you will. I think we're all kind of on the same page there.
We could also, I wouldn't really do this. We could take it back old school like we talked about yesterday, and everybody gets a kettlebell for sumo deadlift high pull for rowing instead, right? Like,
yeah, right? That's true. No, that's to be that perfect example of it. Alternatively, you go, I mean, just spitballing, like you go, I go 200-meter row, 2 rope climbs, 1 clean and jerk, right? So it's like now similar, all of the same movements. The stimulus changes a little bit because it's a little bit faster. There's more rest built in, but other options in there. With that being said, the bike's not a big deal, but this is a very grippy workout. So the bike is like eliminating that part of it, which not a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if we see, if we feel it makes sense, we'll sometimes like literally change the workout and be on the whiteboard to make it work for our facility and the space and everything. And our athletes are used to, like, the ones that want to do it as it's written, they show up early and they like grab their stuff. Yeah. And then often we will be like, you don't need to claim your stuff yet. We're going to be partnering up. We've got this figured out, but we do try to think about that too. Like, okay, do we want to have people ski erging if there's a crap ton of pulling, or the grip or the legs, right? So,
Jenny, I don't remember. Did you
up that rope here? See how she got there.
I don't remember. Did you tell them that they could scale the number of rope climbs down?
Yeah, I was said that if they had their rope climbs in 2 pulls to stick to the 3, if they are consistently taking more than 2 pulls, then they should scale down to 1 or 2.
That'd be me. I would be taking more than 2 pulls.
You know, I like that. Whenever you said that, I was like, I don't know if I've heard a coach actually say, like, if you can do it in X amount of pulls, that's what mandates whether or not you get to go RX today or not.
I actually got that from Joreen, who got it from the coach development group.
Maybe I said that.
I don't know.
I don't think I said that. I don't think I said that. Joreen, who said that? She's watching.
Climb all the way up.
Hey, I like this a lot. Everybody watching, this is important.
See how that feels on the next one. And I'll take
The rowing is like recovery for the most part, right? During this, minimal bandwidth, minimal thinking. That's where you're coaching the other stuff. That was really good, Ryan. Yeah, that was really good.
We just posted a knowledge video on that. It's like, take the time whenever they're going off to do something else to come back up and say like, hey, X, Y, Z, because they're stuck on that machine anyways, and they're going to be paying attention to you.
Time and a place too, right? Like a long workout like this where, you're doing Fran, there's 2 movements, neither one is good for this, and it's a sprint, right? But longer workout where you have to kind of, you can't go all out the entire time at least. And like you said, you have a movement with minimal thinking involved. That's where you're like, hey, what I was telling you over there was, oh, okay, like pull your knees up higher or whatever you were telling him. And then, or on the clean and jerk, I want you to keep that's where you're coaching.
front foot, okay? Try it again.
You're doing it again over here. Nice job. Poor guy on the Echo bike.
I know he wasn't using his arms a minute ago. He was just like, letting it go.
That's the only difference. Like, I will say, like, this is grippier, but it's like recovery. There's no recovery on that Echo bike. That dude's just working.
Yeah, he was on the ground at the end.
So he's using rings for his rope climbs. See, how come he's doing that? This guy in the back here, gray shirt.
Ring rows.
Yeah, and then he's doing like V-ups. I know that was you're scaling up. That was one of the things you talked about earlier.
Yes, I did. I actually said that was if people, for whatever reason, didn't, which is just me being nice, I guess, but like weren't able to do rope climbs, they could do. Is there an echo? No. They could do the ring rows and then V-ups.
Yeah,
that was more so. That's more supposed to specifically for people if they're like having shoulder issues where like reaching overhead isn't okay. But he does not have that.
No, and that was kind of what I was going to say. Like that was the guy earlier on this rope that he was like doing it. And I was like really excited for him.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that we catch those people where it's like, hey, I want you to do those during because that's how he's going to get better. Now, did he get some practice reps in? Absolutely. But he missed the opportunity to get, 15 more practice reps in.
Yeah.
And it could have just been like, oh, I set up in the back. There's rings here, right? But that's where you check in. You do that little WOD buildup. Oh, why are you going over here? Like, cool, we can move the bike. Like, lots of ways to navigate that.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that's probably like, he's like, well, I'm back here, so I'll just stay back here.
And he's on the Echo bike, so he's exhausted.
But yeah, that's another thing I liked. I took away from DT's lesson planning is like the hustle. And it's like, it's not just like, okay, I'm done. And I'm just making sure people have what they think they should. It's like, no, that's still your responsibility to like check in and encourage them to push themselves or take the weight down or whatever it might be.
It goes to what Cody said earlier. Clarity is kindness. If you're like, hey, you're doing this, I take it personally as like, oh, she's either challenging me or she believes in me.
Right.
Like, I would never think like, oh, my coach is like setting me up for failure. So I'm like, okay, she's either believes in me or she wants me to step it up today. Either way, let's go and see what happens.
I think that's another thing that I've been thinking about lately as well is being clearer, being kinder. And, with years of coaching some of these people, and of course, like all of us coaches at our gym, like we're continually trying to get better and kinder in that sense. And it is easy to stay nice and stay like, well, what are you thinking? Instead of being like, this is what you're doing today. So that's a struggle.
And Jenny, there's nothing wrong. Like, hey, what's that guy's name?
Which one? Oh, Charlie in the back.
Charlie. Hey, Charlie, what are you thinking today? He might be like, well, I was going to do the ring row V-up option you mentioned. Oh, cool, Charlie. What about if we do one sit to stand first, ground to stand first, then X, or why do you think that? Well, the bike's back here. Okay, let's move the bike. Like, you never know why he's thought that, and it may very well just be like, well, I didn't want to walk through 5 barbells.
Yeah,
right?
and those are some of the most those are some of the best classes. I feel like when I leave, and even if it's one person, because it's hard to do. In my truth, it's hard to do that with every single person every time.
For sure, 11 people,
right?
But
to have that like magical moment of like, oh, I got them to do something that they didn't either want to or they didn't think they could.
And I think that's a big takeaway for you, Jen. I mean, 11 people is hard, but I will tell you from experience, like, I would make that happen. And I'm not saying that in a arrogant way. I'm saying it in a way where it's like, you can do that. That's everything else we've been talking about, from group management to the specific warm up of like, hey, I like that today. Like, you get someone fit, Joreen, like, every time you look at that clock, all 3 rope climbs less than 45 seconds. Cool? Right? Like, something challenge. Like, sometimes it's a challenge. I mean, look, she's flying up that thing, or somebody else, like, I don't know, like, you give me 2 every round. Like, it doesn't have to be crazy. It just has to be a little more specific.
Totally. And the guy rowing in the front with the greenish socks, he's one that does get time capped. And after the first round, it took him like 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And so I checked in with him. I was like, all right, we're over that stimulus. Do you want to borrow from the row or the rope climb? And he was like, neither. I'm like, okay, so you're just doing an AMRAP? And he's like, yep. And that's an example of where I could be like, instead of even asking, just be like, hey, I want you to scale the 2 rope climbs. Whether he would have listened to me or not, we'll see. Or we would have seen, I suppose. But
yeah, and that's tough. Like, I get it. I've been there on both ends, as the coach and as the member. Like, I want to go RX. Now, you've created some sort of arbitrary time cap, right? Like, do we all agree? It's like, here's the work that needs to be done. This coach is saying it needs to be done in under 20 minutes, but that's her discretion. Now, these guys don't understand. The reason I said 20 is because you should be like, this workout done in an hour is very different, right? And if I let you go 25, it's a slippery slope to like, cool, take 30, take 45. So there is a challenge to that. I think it starts with making sure we cap it at 20. Like, cool, I told you, like, because as soon as you start to be like, oh, finish it, like, I got her. I knew I could go more, I could do what I wanted, right?
Right.
And so, cool, I'm gonna cap you at 20. I'm just letting you know that. You good? Cool. But like you also said, hey, next rope climbs, let's do 2, because that's him, right? This dude, he just did 1 rope climb. Let's see how long how much time clicks by. Thinking about life, like, go again. Okay, not terrible. I mean, I'm by no means a good rope climber, but he is using so much of his arms, right? Like, he just needs to stand. And good on him. Like, he's working it. Like, he's working harder. Like, he's someone, yeah, exactly. He's someone that just needs a little more practice. Like, I don't want him not to rope climb, but maybe do 2. That's funny, Ryder. Time's up. Everything just goes away. That's funny.
And it is hard because even the next day, he sent me this long text and he's like, I'm so sorry for being a jackass. I'm like,
dude, he's doing great. I gotta give him credit. Like, he's not taking forever. No. It's just a little slower than we need to be.
And for him, it's like, it's a workout that he can RX because it's a percentage. And like, and that right is something also as a coach to consider. Like, okay, 100%. Do I want to spend less time on the specific warm up? And this is a workout that a lot of people can RX. So do I let this be a day where the intended stimulus can slide a little bit so they can have that moment?
And that's important, right? Like, again, going back to like, Spiels is very smart, like, but there's a difference, but like we talked about earlier, there's a fine line between I adhere to the CrossFit methodology and I'm running a successful affiliate, right? And if you adhere, it's technique and intensity, right? If I'm so tight to technique that there's no intensity, cool. No one's having fun. No one's getting results. And if I'm so far into intensity that there's no technique, people are dying. So we need to find that balance. And yeah, this might have been one of those days like, okay, I'm going to actually give you 25 minutes today, guys. So if you're going to go RX, this is your day. And now I know I need to be smarter with that specific and general warm-up. Also be aware that you're going to have people like Joreen who finishes on time. So what's going to happen in those 5 to 10 minutes? Because it can't be a sacrifice of everyone else's hour either. So cool. If you guys are done at this time, I need you to, rest 1 minute and then do another 5K on the road. Don't do that, but whatever. Like, something there. Like, or here's the 5 stretches I need you to do before you get out of here.
Yep.
So think about there. Because there's definitely magic in hitting those RX workouts for these people. We shouldn't take that away from people in adherence to a stimulus. And I know
Jenny,
that's like CrossFit methodology, but I'm telling you, like, that's how you run a good box. Now, again, that's different than your level 4.
Right.
What, Cody?
From a safety standpoint, I don't remember you talking about the descent of the rope climb.
Noted. Definitely. What do you got?
Right. And so that's a big one, right? The other thing, as I'm just looking at this class too, is something, it's not mandatory, obviously, but something that to consider would be telling, being more direct with your athletes and telling them, hey, when you get off the rower, try to walk through the middle of the rig to the front of the class. That way you're out of the way of all the rest of the barbells. Right. It's a safer lane for them to get from the back of the room to the front. If they're going to do some rope climbs, they don't have to cross over, playing Frogger with everybody doing clean and jerks and dropping the barbells from overhead. So from
I'd love to also mention just like actually getting off the rope itself.
Yeah. I know you did here's how you wrap and here's the build up, but especially for some of the people who are maybe scaling this and they're going to do one rope climb, but they're doing it all the way to the top. Then, okay. I also need to talk about the safe way to come down too. Yeah.
No, I almost always forget to talk about the descent until I see someone like struggling and I'm like,
I can't save you.
Yeah. I'm like, oh God, I'm ready to catch you.
Pull up Corey's comment, please.
You have the ability to do this.
I know, but you told me not to do that, so I'm listening to you. Dude, you literally said months ago, stop pulling up the comments. I've stopped. I went past the cap last night. Having said that, it was the last class of the day and the coach was cool with it. We did Amanda and I just, and that's part of it. Like as a member, as another coach, like knowing time and a place. And also it's a benchmark workout. So, there may not be a class after this, but there's a difference, right? Like how long you're going to be, Amanda's are you going to be 1 minute longer? This is like, if you miss the time cap, you're probably more like 5 minutes longer, right? So finding that balance.
And it's also like, for something that's a benchmark workout, like I may be like, okay, yeah, like I know you want to get it, you want to see where you're at. Maybe you went over last time too, but this time you're only going to go over a little bit more, but it's a 2-minute PR on your Amanda time. Like, great, that's going to make you happy, and you're going to come back.
Yeah, and for the record, like I said, this guy's doing good.
Yeah, he did great. He was, for him, relatively close, and yeah, he did a good job.
Look at our guy in the back.
What? This guy? Charlie? Poor Charlie.
Poor Charlie.
And then, Jenny, you were saying he texted you after?
Andy, the guy rope climbing, yeah.
Yeah, and what did he say?
He just said something like, I'm sorry for being a jackass. Like, I just really wanted to fish. I'm like, I didn't even think that. And I'm like, I'm sorry to have to, put the cap on there. And I can't remember the whole conversation, but.
No, and you know what? Like, even if he was being a jackass, first of all, I think as members, they don't realize why some of the times.
Right.
Oh, why? Well, I have to end on, there's nothing after this. I got to go somewhere. The members have to go somewhere, whatever, et cetera. So the fact that he recognized it as better than 99% of the world. And, it's your opportunity right then to be like, hey, Charlie, or not Charlie, what's his name? Dan?
Andy.
Andy, I truly appreciate that. Let me just explain to you why.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hey, force, distance, time, right? Like that's when you can really dig into it. Oh, I didn't ever know that. Yeah, like this is what those are the things. Like those are really big light bulb moments for your members.
Yeah, little education opportunities.
Is that 1 minute?
Yep.
So he's probably going on round 5 right now.
Does it start with the row? I can't remember. Yes.
Yeah. So right, he's like 4 minutes behind at this point, which is cool.
Ugh.
I mean, you got quite a few people still working. I don't think it was wrong. It was tight.
Oh yeah. Well, and
that's super tight.
that's another piece of like outsourcing programming is Spiel will put goal times in there, and Spiel's goal time was 18 minutes or less.
Yeah.
And there are many of his where I'm like, and we've done them, and it's like that's not happening. So it's still like right for us as coaches. Okay, disregard what the notes say. Like do the math in my head. What's going to be a good stimulus, but also like relative to our community.
Yeah, and also like this is a great example. Like we call it like the basic math model: 500-meter row, even on the slightly longer end, 2:15,
Right.
3 rope climbs a minute. 3:15, 1 clean and jerk at 80%, 15 seconds, 3:30. Oh, cool. 18 minutes, right? No, like transition time, grip fatigue, heart rate, right? Like all of those things, you have to factor those in. But I think nothing wrong with what you did. You just kind of created, like you said, a 20-minute AMRAP. And yes, and Matt, when you're strict with the time cap, it is a great way to get members to scale. I'd rather you do it at the whiteboard with a whiteboard brief, but time and a place for sure. Is this guy just practicing or is he still going?
He is still going.
There's always one guy
And
or girl.
then he sees his brother-in-law. So then Andy starts rowing.
I don't know what to make of this. This is a hard one. I'm trying to think. What would you do, Cody?
As far as like the guys continuing to work?
Yeah.
I mean, so the one guy there, like he finished his rope climb and he went over there and knocked out his clean and jerk. Okay, like it's over. Maybe I'll go up and say something at that point. But
that was it. He was done, right? Like
yeah,
1-on-1.
But the one who's on the rower, like he's starting a whole fresh round over here. That I mean, you already mentioned like he texts you afterwards, but that's definitely a conversation you have to have for sure. Like you have to explain the situation. Like, look, the time caps are the time caps for a reason because we're trying to get this thing from 0 to 60, and
let me throw this.
The workout's not supposed to be 40 minutes long. Like,
yeah, all that. But here's also, I think if we really, I was thinking about it. It's like pull back now. What this is really a reflection of is the timeline. Because if we started on time and now we had 10 minutes and we're going to a cool down, he looks like an asshole.
Right.
Right? Here he is like, oh, we're class is over. Everyone's cleaning up anyway. Let me just do this last round. And you have less, you're the owner. You have as much jurisdiction as you want, but it's different when we're like, yo, Andy, we're cooling down. No, you're done. Like it's harder to justify that if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. The peer pressure of like everybody cooling down and like you're the one guy sticking out.
Right to the bar.
Yeah, he did.
Which means he notices he's kind of being a turd.
Mm-hmm.
He's not being a turd. I apologize, Andy. He's not. Look, we're all just having a good time trying to work out. But I think if we really step back, that's what it's for coaches. Like a lot of times when that's happening, that's what it's a reflection of. Like if we're not on time anymore, things fall off.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Is that the end? Are you just wrapping it up now, cleaning up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing you do is like, all right, guys, clean up for, like DT said last week. All right, clean up for time. Somebody start with Andy's bar, right? And there you go, right? Like that's an easy way to do it.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
actually,
Like, we're
what
just
I
gonna
did
go ahead
with-
and take his weights.
What I did for the noon class as well is it was like an aha moment after this class, because my noon class, I think it was full. I think I had 16 people, or 15 or 16, and I had them partner up and share a bar because it was one clean and jerk.
Mhm, yeah, for sure.
That saved, I mean, everyone had a barbell for the warm up, but then that saved space and made it safer, to your point, Cody. And that was helpful. I still started later than I wanted to. But
Well, let's talk about it. You know, Jenny, you coached this again 2 hours later. What are some of the big things you did in that noon class? You kind of talked about it earlier, but refresh our memories now that we've seen the class happen.
I shortened the general warm up. So I had them do only 2 rounds, which didn't save much time, and had them partner up to save space. I wish I would have consolidated the rope climb warm up and or been better with my group management there. And then with the partnering, it was helpful on one hand, but then also it's like figuring out the weight, who's sharing with me, and then like warming up one at a time. So it like helped again in some ways, but didn't in others.
Yeah, and if I were doing that, I'd be like, hey, 80 to 85% or 75 to 85%.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, cool. Well, as long as you're within 10 pounds, you're probably in that rep or that percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Did your noon class run? I mean, technically that was on time.
It was, yeah, they were both on time. It was, the noon class was very similar time-wise. It was maybe a few minutes earlier. Not much
Did
better.
you coach it again later on, or was that it?
That was it.
Cool. No, I think that's what it's all about. Like we learn from our experience and we try to improve it, you know, and even if it didn't get better, you change something and now you know better for the next time. That's, you know, it's just reps and reps that you're getting, you know, under your you know, your tool belt. That would be cool to compare two of the same class. Yeah. For sure. And hopefully, I mean, I know for me, my second class is always better.
Mm-hmm.
Always. I'm going to say always, but I learned something. I think about something, right? You just make those tweaks. You learn a little bit. You know, from this perspective, what I would want to see from you, and I'm telling you to get prepared for your level 4, tighten up that group management.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to go into your classes for the next, you know, and here's the thing, Jenny, like it's your box. They're used to you. Own it. Hey guys, I'm getting ready for a really tough assessment. I'm going to be a little harder on y'all for the next 30 days. April 13th, we can do whatever you want. What workout do you guys want to do? I'll program it, right? But like for the next 30 days, I need you to listen to me and I'm going to be hard on you. And I think your members would appreciate that. Like, oh, I mean, how many box owners are out there trying to get the next credential? You know, signing up, paying thousands of dollars, driving to Boulder. I mean, you've driven to Ralston Creek to get like they don't realize that. And like they need to also, I think it's one of those things where not only do they not realize that, like that's big. You don't want that? Cool. Go to the other 99% of boxes that aren't giving a shit about getting better. Cool. Go there. I'll see you back here in a month when you realize how much better we are. Right? Like, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, put it out there. Now it's done. Repeat it a couple times as needed and really focus on that. And then the other takeaway for you, Jenny, is going to be, I think that group management is going to help so much. I want you to really nail down those static positions.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome. Cody, anything to add there?
No, that was it. That's good. You know, it's a simple class, right? Like what we just watched right there was a simple class with a lot of moving parts. And I think if you're not well planned, that kind of thing can sneak up on you for sure. Like somebody mentioned in the comments, there's a lot of moving parts here, but if you just looked at it on paper, you're like, oh, it's a row, some rope climbs and a clean and jerk. Yeah, but okay. Like I have to make sure that I've done my lesson plan, looked at it. Maybe you look at it and go, that's not going to work. and you have to go back and rework that again. So just goes to show too that, the planning behind the class matters as well, especially if you get your planning from your outside source programming. Like, I need to make sure I look at this and say, like, is this going to work for my class?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think because you had that plan, you ran it on time. Right. So that if you did not have that, that was an hour and 10-minute class.
Oh my
right?
God.
So like just the effort of putting a plan, even if you either don't stick perfectly to it or the plan wasn't perfect itself, is going to pay off. Overall, that was a great class. It was fun. You got a lot of people challenging themselves, doing things. Where else on this planet? A bunch of 30, 40-year-olds doing rope climbs at 9:15 in the morning. That's insane, right? So great work there, Jenny. Now it's just like tighten up those two things: group management and focusing on the static cues. And I think you're definitely gonna level up. Get another class on video. Even if we don't have you on here, I'm happy to check it out. And let's make it. Get here again. I know I am super busy, but if you can get to Ralston Creek before April 12th, I will make it to class. We'll coordinate that with Jeremy.
Cool.
Awesome. Anything else for us, Jenny? How'd you feel watching that?
Good. I feel very proud of how far I've come as far as the number of cues and the specific cues that I've given. That's something that Joreen has been helping us with as well, and at our coach development meetings, and making sure we're not just saying good or nice without a good what or a nice what. And that's been really cool. And yeah, I knew going into this that like just the timeline piece, and like I mentioned in the beginning, focusing on too much is my biggest flaw right now.
Yeah. Everybody drop a compliment to Jenny in the comments. I think it's important. I think oftentimes we get on this show and like Cody and I have said numerous times, like, the fact that you are signing up for your level 4, you're videoing yourself, you're running coaches development, you're putting yourself out there. I think it's easy to be like, oh, like beat yourself up a little bit. And we should reflect and try to be better. But like also, I think it's important to remember, like, I tell this in that coaches development group that Joreen's in all the time, like, you guys are freaking unicorns. Like, it's easy, no different than Spiel. Like, this is the analogy. Spiel forgets. He's a cyborg. He's a freak of nature. We're the same age. And no doubt he would do that in sub 18. And there's a disconnect that, like, that's not normal. And I think sometimes as coaches, we forget, like, we're not normal. You know what? 99% of coaches take the level 1, and that's as far as they get. So, the fact that you're level 3, the fact that you're preparing for your level 4, the fact that you care enough to do this, like, don't lose sight of that. That's really what this is all about. So
Thanks.
Good work, Jenny. And that goes for anyone watching, simply watching, whether you're here to just joke around like Corey, or, buy us coffee like Mike, or because you're truly here to get better. Like, don't ever forget, like, you guys are the cyborgs of coaches. Most aren't doing it, so good on you guys. It was really awesome, Jenny. Let's make sure we link up before April 12th. Deal? I'll give it to you. I promise you, we will make that happen if you make it happen. Cool?
Okay. Yep.
All right. Good
Thanks,
work
guys.
today.
Guys, if you want to be in the hot seat, you see the banner down there. Email Cody at best hour of their day. I'll get you the form that you need, and then you can come on here and let us, pick you.
Yeah. How about Corey? You're here to get better?
Yeah, Corey.
Shoot us an email. Cody at besthouroftheirday.com. Put your money where your mouth is, Corey. See you guys next week.
See ya.